Thinking is the hardest work there is, which is probably the reason so few engage in it. Henry Ford.
Welcome back to the homestead, y'all. I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut part 2 off of our building a pole barn series right here. I'm not quite finished with the metal roofing. I like about 6 pieces on each side, but in this video you're gonna see us finish the lathing up and the metal roofing on the high lean-to on one side of our barn. Also, we're gonna pour the concrete under the other lean-to and acid stain it for our offices on the other side of the barn. You know, I'd like to give a quick shout out and thanks to Mr. Huey Simmons and Benny Evans for coming and helping us with our concrete. I didn't have the finishing tools or the skill set to finish it nice and smooth the way I wanted the concrete, so they were kind enough to come up and help us. Also in this video, you're gonna see us, we're gonna set the trusses, and I had help with one of my wife's cousins, Noel Underwood, and thank you, Noel, for coming and helping us do that, and then Lee Netherton also came and helped. So the 3 of us were able to set the trusses on this barn. Of course, these are 40-foot trusses. I probably could have set them by myself, but you have to know when to ask for help, and so I asked those guys for help, and they were kind enough to come help me, and I sure do appreciate it. But also, we set the trusses, we put the 2x6 purlins on, and then we put our metal roofing on. We did use some clear panels on our metal roofing. I'm not sure how that's gonna work out. I've talked to several people. Some people say they last 20 or so years. I bought a high quality clear panels. They let more natural light in the wintertime. I put most of them on the south side of the barn. I did put 2 on the north side of the barn, but most of our clear panels are gonna be on the south side, and they're only half the height of the barn, so they're not the full length, and then I put metal above them. But our metal pieces are 22 feet 3 inches long. I wanted to leave about a 4-inch gap at the ridge cap, so that'll let some hot air out in the summertime. Of course, we're gonna have barn doors on here, sliding barn doors, so we'll be able to open the barn doors up to get some air through. But I wanted a place for the hot air to go out at the top, so I left about a 4 to 5 inch gap at my ridge cap. Now, if you don't want that big a gap, then you want to add a couple inches to your metal, then by all means, go ahead and do it. Another thing, each piece of this metal has 52 screws in it. There's 13 purlins on each side, and I put 4 screws in each purlin per piece of metal. So that ends up being about 52 screws. Also, I've timed myself from the time I pick up a piece of metal, get it up on the roof, get it in place, get it square. It takes me about 22 minutes to screw down a piece of metal. So that's not too bad as long as the wind isn't blowing. Today the wind's picked up to about 15 miles an hour, so I've came down from the roof. It's difficult to handle a 22-foot piece of metal by yourself in a 15-mile-an-hour wind, and plus it's not very safe. So I went ahead and quit working on the roof today. I'm gonna work on the side some and get some other work done that I need done around the homestead. But if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Also, I did a top 5 mistakes I've made so far building our pole barn. I did a video on it. I'll put a link in the bottom in the description, so that way if you want to watch it, in case you're deciding to build a pole barn in the near future, I would go ahead and watch that so you don't make the same mistakes I made. But if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and thanks for watching. Thanks for watching our part 2 video on our pole barn build. On the next video, on part 3, we'll be finishing out the offices and doing the insulation, installing the windows and doors on it. We'll be putting the siding on the ends of the barn, on the sides of the barn, and we're going to be installing solar and wind on our barn. So I have 4 wind generators that I'm going to be putting up, and I'm going to be putting about 1.5 kilowatts of solar on it. So if you don't want to miss those installs, please click the subscribe and the notification bell, so that way you'll be notified when I do post those videos. And again, thanks for watching.